right, we are live, and in this one, I want to share the breakthrough blueprint that's helped me. So, we go through life and we're going through our goals, our career that we're in, and we're always after, nobody wants small improvements. Nobody wants to get better incrementally. You want to have a breakthrough. You want to have something, you want to really get to the other side and just break through, because that's what's exciting. These little incremental changes are not what moves the needle in people's lives. It's really the breakthroughs. But oftentimes we know the breakthrough happens from doing these little things compounded daily. So in this video today, I'm going to share with you a sequence that I've used and that's tremendously helped me in my life. And it's more so focused on the financial part, more so building revenue, gaining more ability to generate revenue, and how to think through that and how to compound that through your life. So we're not going to get into the details. I'm going to give you a big 30,000 foot overview of this, and then we'll dive in other live streams. So like I said, I'll be doing a live stream. I'll be streaming live every single week. I haven't gotten the schedule down, but I'm going to be here with you live every week. And this is going to be a fun way for us to connect. And hopefully I can help you out with these streams. I don't have any agenda in mind with this. I'm not trying to sell anything. I sincerely just want to help you break through to that next level in your life. So let's just jump into this. The breakthrough blueprint. What's the first thing you need to really zone in on and focus on when you're really trying to have a breakthrough in your life? Well, the first thing is you got to eliminate the noise. You got to eliminate the noise. There's so much noise out there. You got to talk to yourself and say, hey, here's the noise in life. There's so much stuff going on. There's so much crap everywhere. There's politics. There's what he said. There's what she said. There's what's happening in this event. What you read online. There's you sitting there scrolling aimlessly on your phone. You're not going to get anywhere until you cut the noise. Why do I say that? Because when you're focused on all these things outside of you, you forget to get awareness from within you. And great things in your life come from acting inward, looking inward, and then sharing that outward. Well, where many people are stuck is because they're constantly looking outward and trying to find quote unquote motivation or cues in their life to help them feel better. Oh my God, I want to feel inspired. I want to feel motivated. And you're constantly looking out there to actually trigger something in here. And I'm going to challenge you to do something different, which is shut the noise off. Stop scrolling. Give yourself, maybe it's just a few hours. Like, when was the last time you went 2 to 3 hours without your phone scrolling and drip feeding information into your mind? And for most people, that is pretty rare. So I challenge you to do that first. Cut the noise. Cut the noise. And then I want you to ask yourself one question. And this applies to anything in your life, whether you want to go to college, or you want to start a new career, or you want to start a new, entrepreneurial venture, or you're like, man, I have a business idea, or gosh, I want to, put up my first landing page and sell my product, or I want to start a YouTube channel, or I want to do better on Instagram, whatever it is. Ask yourself this one question, and this determines how you're going to act in the rest of this blueprint. So the first question is this, and those of you that are here, if you can post or leave me a comment in the chat so I can see if you have questions, I'll make sure I can answer those as well. So the first question you got to ask yourself is this, and this is a question that most people overlook. They don't think of this because they're so focused on the noise. They're so focused here that they don't think of this part, which is just asking yourself, what's the lifestyle I want? What is the lifestyle I want? What is your lifestyle? What do you want to do? When do you want to wake up? Who do you want to spend time with? Do you want to travel every week? Do you want to travel twice a year? Do you want to travel 4 times a year, 6 times a year? Do you hate traveling and you really just want to surf all day? What do you want to do? Or do you want to go into a corporate building and work? Or would you rather just work from home and have the laptop lifestyle that, the dream of like, hey, just work remotely from anywhere in the world? What do you want to do? This is so key. Most people don't think of this because most people listen to what other people are telling them that they should be doing. So I'm going to encourage you to ask yourself, what do I want? What's the lifestyle I want? This is the most important question to ask. The most important question to ask. Because without this, none of this blueprint matters. Because if you're climbing a ladder that's leaning against the building you don't want to go into, then that's not a ladder worth climbing, right? If you're trying to achieve a goal that you're like, what's the point of this? Like, I'm working 80 hours a week. I don't want this. Or I don't want this type of lifestyle, or I don't like doing this type of work. You have to figure out what you truly want. Once you figure out what you want, and you don't have to know exactly, oh my God, this is how I want it to be, but dream again. Think big again. Ask yourself, hey, what about this lights me up? What kind of, stuff do I want to continue to focus on in my life as I go through my day? So this is number one. You got to first ask yourself what you want in your lifestyle. How do you want it to be? Very key. When do you want to wake up? What do you want to eat for breakfast? When do you want to start your day? How do you want to, what kind of schedule do you want to have? This is huge. Most people miss this. Then the next thing is, once you start cutting the noise, you have to ask yourself another question. What do you want to focus on? You have to focus on something. And I can tell you this right now. Right now, you should be making your own curriculum. There's nobody out there that's going to know your preferences better than you. And you should be designing your own curriculum for your life. And that's one of the things I look at my history as far as transitioning from having multiple practices to now having an online education platform that coaches other dentists, literally globally. And I wanted to go from brick and mortar to online. I wanted that. And it took time to focus on what I wanted. How do I want it? How do I want to generate revenue? What's my ideal business like? What's my ideal schedule like? That was the questions I was asking myself. And you should ask yourself those same questions. What do I want to focus on? And based on what you want to focus on, you need to seek out the mentors. So based on what you focus on, let me just clear that up a little bit. Based on what you focus on, based on your focus, you will seek out your mentors. Okay? Now, here's the beautiful thing. Mentors are all online. There's so many people in my life that have helped me that I haven't even shook their hands because they're all online. And this is why I say, if you're thinking of going to a four-year university or college degree, ask yourself, is that going to yield the lifestyle that you want? Or can I find the people that can teach me what I need to know so I can get to where I want to get to and have the outcome I want to have in like 25% of the time? You shrink like 75% less effort in spending rather than, if you're going to spend 4 years at a college or university, are you going to learn, can you learn all that stuff in like a year? If you took a deep dive and you found the right mentors, the people that have done it, they're doing it and they can teach it? And the answer is overwhelmingly a yes, you can. So you got to find the right mentors. And then once you find those mentors, your job really is to focus on this. I found my mentors. I am now going to focus on this. And that is your curriculum. That's who's going to teach you. That's like your curriculum. So now you are creating your own curriculum, your own schooling, your own sense of, hey, this is what I want to learn. This is what I want to do. So once you get this part, you start a daily practice to eliminate the noise in your life. Okay, what do I want to focus on? What do I want? What's my lifestyle? Find the mentors. You can find these mentors on X, on YouTube, on social media. I mean, it's amazing what you can learn off of a free channel on YouTube. And as we go through, as I stream here more, I'm going to share my resources with you, exactly the people that I follow, that I learn from daily, right? So you should have a list of people that you consistently learn from. Maybe it's somebody on TikTok, maybe it's somebody on Instagram. But what I found is the content that's changed my life the most is not these 60-second pops of information. It's long-form content, stuff that I can consume over a longer period of time. Long-form content changes the game because it's hard for someone to BS you, to sit there and posture themselves and act like something that they're not over a long period of time. So consume more long-form content. Very important. Find your mentors. Now, once you do that, you have to jump into what we call the revenue vehicle. So as you're learning these skills from these mentors, and yes, I know we're living in the day of AI and technology, you're still going to have to learn new skills, right? Who's going to teach you the best AI skills? Who's going to teach you the best tech skills? Who do you want to follow to learn these things? And I'll tell you right now, more than anything, what are the things that you should focus on right now? If you're going to really pick and choose what you're going to focus on, what should you be focusing on? Well, you definitely should be focusing on AI. You definitely should be focusing on tech. You definitely should be focusing on financial innovation. In this case, Bitcoin, right? If you're not focusing on all these areas, AI, technology, Bitcoin, blockchain, how this is all innovating right now. These are the greatest innovations in our space right now. Okay, you need to be focusing on this stuff regularly. And obviously, if you're in a different time, you'd be focusing on something else. But right now, this is the focal point. So if you choose to focus on the wrong things, you're going to get the wrong outcome as well, right? So once you understand, okay, these are things I want to focus on, this is what my curriculum to be like, then it comes down to the next step, which is part of the blueprint, which is the revenue vehicle, right? Creating a vehicle or a revenue vehicle, right? Creating a revenue vehicle. That is huge. Now, why do I say that? Because without a revenue vehicle, what happens? If you don't have a vehicle to actually make sure, hold on a second, make sure my audio is good here. Yeah, if you don't have a vehicle to actually get you there, you're not going to get there, right? So what's a revenue vehicle? Well, you simply got to ask yourself, and what do people usually pay for? People don't pay for information. They don't pay for, back in the day, they had the encyclopedia, right? Today, it's information. They're not paying for information. People are always paying for problems to be solved. So you got to ask yourself, with the information that you know, what are some of the problems that you can solve? And I like to think about it this way, and we can break this down on another session as well. But I like to think about it like this quadrant. 4 P's, okay? The first P, second, third, and the fourth. So the first one essentially is your passion. What are you passionate about? What do you really spend time focusing on in your life? What is it that really lights you up? What kind of content do you read most? What are the things that you consuming most? What are you watching most? What do you naturally love speaking about or talking to other friends and people about? What is your passion? What's that point in your life? What are the things that you're consuming most? What are you spending your time mostly with, right? Those are your passions. Now, you don't have to have a perfect passion around something. So the second step is, well, based on your passion, you got to ask yourself, what are the problems in this world? Well, what are the problems? Okay, I have my passion. Next step is, what are the problems in the world? What are the problems? Because people will pay to get their problems solved. They don't necessarily pay for information. They want a solution. And if someone's having a pain point and you can say, hey, you know what? You're struggling with losing the last 10 pounds. Let me show you what's worked for me. And I have a whole perspective on this. Right? And that's the third P, perspective. You sharing your perspective. You sharing your perspective with somebody else on a problem that they're having. And that is what leads to profit. Okay, this is the whole creator economy. This is the whole economy of what people pay for. Whether you're going to the dentist, right? The dentist is passionate about helping your teeth. You're passionate about his business, passionate about hopefully making sure that they can fix your smile and help enhance it. And they see that problem. And they have a perspective on it, which is their education, which is their skill set. That helps yield the profit. You may be passionate about helping someone get healthy after they have their first baby, helping them lose weight or helping them overcome, postpartum depression, whatever it is. Not that everyone goes through that, but I'm just saying there may be different areas in your passion set that may help you find a problem that most people in that area are going through. If you like sailing, you may think, gosh, I love to sail, but here's a problem that most people have when they start sailing. Or I love to golf, but here's some of the problems that most people have when they start to golf. I have a full-on perspective or a solution on that problem. And I will share my solution with them. And that's what yields you a profit, because now your solution has a framework. It has an outcome. It has something that you are giving or teaching or sharing with them that's helping them solve the problem. And that's what yields profit. So this is like your revenue generating vehicle. Whether you have a brick and mortar business or you have an online business, every business goes through this quadrant, the 4P quadrant. That's what I call it, 4P quadrant, right? Every business, the 4 Ps, you got to know your 4 Ps, 4P quadrant. Every business goes through this. You got to have this. Passion, problem, what's the problem I'm solving? What's my perspective on it? And because of that perspective, if I can deliver it effectively, whether it's an online program, a mentorship, a coaching program, a direct one-to-one access, that's going to lead me to profit. Now, you must have, this is your revenue generating vehicle. Even a fast food place, well, they're solving a problem. Someone's hungry. We can deliver that solution quick. We can be effective with it. We can be safe with it. We can be clean with it. We can be delicious or tasteful with it. Whatever it is, you're solving a problem. Even a high-end restaurant, what's the problem? Well, people want places to gather and enjoy and to connect and relate with one another. Well, here's my passion around food and environment and getting people together and creating experiences. I can use my passion to solve a problem with my perspective that I know on that problem, and that yields me a profit. Now, this then takes you to the next step, which is essentially, how do we actually go and create freedom out of this? Well, the first thing is this. This is hopefully going to get you some insight. This right here is going to get you insight on what's clear to you, right? It's going to help you get insight on what's clear to you. This here is going to help you generate income or revenue, right? Based on your passion, the problem, and your perspective around that you can solve. Then as you make the money, what happens next? And this is really important because this is where you generate ultimate freedom, okay? As you make revenue, you're going to have to learn how to 2x, 3x, 5x, or 10x or more that revenue stream. And then you have to ask yourself, what are some of the vehicles that I can place this to? What are some of the assets that I can actually put this revenue into. This is where you get freedom. When you've actually taken it and you're like, God, I'm making revenue from this revenue producing vehicle, and now I can 2x, 3x, 5x, or 10x or more my money, and that's what gives you freedom. And then here's the thing. Remember, we talked about this earlier. I said, hey, what's the number one thing that you should ask yourself before doing any of this thing? Well, it was this. It was simply stated, it's this. It's the lifestyle. It is the lifestyle. What kind of lifestyle do you want? Every business, every revenue producing vehicle, every one of these is different. Some require you to be there. Some require a physical person to be in a storefront. Some require you to be and use technology to do something online that can deliver for you. But this comes down to building your lifestyle, because this is your core thing right here. I want to know how to build the lifestyle that I want. So you take your money and you double it, triple it, you 10x it, whatever it is, and you do that through specific assets. And we're going to be going over all these areas in way more depth on the future streams, okay? So if you have questions on this, post them here in the chat, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer those. But I'll tell you this right now, you should be putting your money into assets that don't devalue, that don't debase. So things that are going to be going up in value. Think about it this way. Most people are okay with this truth that $100 today is going to be worth less tomorrow. Most people are okay with that when it doesn't make any sense. $100 today should be going up in value. And it only goes up in value if you have it in the right assets, because currently the dollars that you're earning are being devalued. Okay? In fact, specifically this year, the purchasing power of the US dollar has decreased by 10% from January till now, July 2025. So think of that. You're working so hard for all that stuff, and you're working here, you got this machine going, you're working, and you have a 10% decrease in value of the value and the revenue that you've actually incurred. 10% less. The purchasing power is 10% less. So you got to put in the right assets. And we'll jump into some of that on future sessions. But for this one, I wanted to go over with you. I just wanted you to see, you need to cut the noise first before you do anything. You have to cut the noise. You got to figure out who you want to focus on to learn from. And those are your mentors. And what are the topics that you want to learn? Because right now, the leaders in any space are going to be the ones who know how to learn quick, implement that, or find the person to help them do that or implement that through someone else. Sometimes it's not what, sometimes it's not how, it's who, right? So you learn, you figure out how to kind of do something conceptually, and then you find who can do it, whether that's through an AI tool, technology, a person, a situation, whatever it is. Sometimes the who is a tech tool. Sometimes the who is a person. Sometimes it's both. So the winners in tomorrow's world are going to be the people that learn to skill up the quickest and most effectively. But you got to cut out the noise for that. If you live in a noisy space in your mind, you can never do the rest of this stuff. You can't. You got to cut the noise. Understand how a revenue vehicle works. Passion, problem, perspective, profit. It's all about that. And then know how to scale your money and your revenue by putting it into the right vehicles. And we'll dive into that based on what's happening right now in current times. All right. Always good seeing you on these live streams. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat. I will be back again streaming live. I hope this one helped. As always, have an incredible rest of your day. And like we always say, live inspired. I will see you on the next one.